seems only yesterday I was trying to persuade the bank manager to hand me a few £1,000s to finance my idea. Luckily, he agreed. But if I tried today and lived in the developing world, the chances of getting funds would be 1,000,000 to 1. Banks are too nervous to back what they see as risky ventures. So entrepreneurs who can deliver things like energy just can't grow. Now, a new initiative called Rural Energy and Enterprise Development, READ, supported by the UN Environment Programme and the UN Foundation, is easing the bottleneck. READ offers seed money to small businesses keen to deliver green energy to people who otherwise could only dream of electric power. Energetic tracks down businesses that are proof that venture capital can help spark sustainable energy for all.
The streets of Accra, a commercial hub in West Africa. Local entrepreneurs are breaking new ground with dynamic businesses that offer cleaner energy at an affordable price. Liquid petroleum gas is proving a popular choice. Given a boost by finance from the Africa Rural Energy Enterprise Development Programme, ARED for short, Ghana's clean energy enterprises are taking off. Worldwide, 2 out of 5 people rely on biomass, vegetation and animal wastes for energy.
Biomass is a very, very important contribution quite now for the energy needs of developing countries. And there, renewable energy has a huge market chance, also decreasing the load of pollution to the atmosphere in line with our fight against climate change.
80% of Ghana's energy comes from wood. A traditional wood-burning stove is a familiar feature in most households. Smoke is a killer in the home. According to the Intermediate Technology Development Group, it's blamed for 1.6 million deaths a year. And firewood collection is contributing to the loss of forest cover and the wild species that depend on it. In Ghana, the government is promoting liquid petroleum gas, or LPG, as an alternative. The startup finance is coming from ARED, a rural enterprise initiative with funds coming from the UN Foundation. So far, ARED has invested $58,000 to help 2 small businesses sell the gas. Relative to charcoal and kerosene, LPG is a clean fuel. It's a byproduct of oil refining, and it used to be burned off as waste.
We used to flare LPG, as a matter of fact. So the policy directive was that, look, let's stop the flaring, right? Get LPG into productive use. So we targeted the urban centers. And at that point in time, we gave away free stoves, free cylinders, and then the LPG took off.
LPG's drawback is that it must be stored under pressure and can only be used in specially adapted equipment. The first generation of cooking stoves were based on a European design, unsuitable for the rounded pots used in Ghanaian kitchens. One entrepreneur had a bright idea, an LPG stove using a traditional Ghanaian design.
I thought of this model because it has been a coal pot which Ghanaian use at almost every home. So my mind tells me that when I mold mine on the coal pot basis, it will attract more customers. And guess what? It gives very high flame.
But Prosper needed help before he could live up to his name. He needed startup capital.
Entrepreneurs who want to do startups really don't have any venture capital to back them. Most banks and, for that matter, most financial institutions will want to shy away from startups because the risk is quite high.
With a bank loan out of the question, Prosper had to look elsewhere for finance. Working in partnership with the ARED programme, the Kumasi Institute of Technology and Environment gave Prosper a loan from ARED's seed fund.
The entrepreneur approaches you with the idea. You're helping the entrepreneur think through the idea and present it as a business plan so that an investor will be interested in looking at it.
A-READ seed money allows entrepreneurs to take a few risks.
Even before the approval of the arid finance, they gave us a lot of guidelines how to run the business. They put it through a lot of process, which today we feel is helping us a lot.
Now, TransLegacy's stoves are used in restaurants all over Accra, and he says his business keeps on growing. Cheap gas also persuaded canny motorists to convert their cars to burn LPG instead of petrol, cutting fuel bills and cleaning up their emissions. So another entrepreneur saw his chance to innovate. Business-savvy Seth had worked refilling LPG cylinders, but his dream was to open his own vehicle filling station.
I started from a garage. When I come, I'll park them at the garage. And because the demand was increasing, people will come, take it, then we exchange it with the cylinders. Then we go and fill and come back. So we realized that the demand was becoming greater. So we started looking for places to put up the plants.
But finding a site was the easy bit. Financing the equipment proved tricky, even for an established businessman like Seth.
I was running a very good account, you see. And I don't think with my turnover, the bank seeing this will reject my request for assistance, you see. But on some flimsy excuse, they threw my request overboard. And actually I was shocked.
Again, A-READ stepped in with a loan to kickstart the business. By paying back the loan, Anisette will gain a good credit history, giving Seth more credibility when dealing directly with commercial banks in the future. Seth used the money to buy a large gas tank and a vehicle fuel pump. He's been busy ever since.
Hello?
More than 90% of Brazil's electricity is generated from its 600 dams. But with a thriving economy and a growing demand for electric power, the country is struggling to meet its rising energy needs, especially in rural areas. Here too, small enterprises held the key to improved energy delivery, this time with a counterpart fund, B-READ for short, the Brazilian Rural Energy Enterprise Development Programme. Most farmers in Mato Grosso in southwestern Brazil must manage without services that many take for granted. Foremost is no access to a national electricity grid, so technology that could boost food production is beyond the reach of ordinary farmers.
We have 5 to 6 months of the year when it rains. During this period, people can plant, but then we have 6 months of the year when it doesn't rain. If you haven't got help of the technology for half the year, the small producers don't generate income and barely have enough to survive.
Local businessman Roberto Emilio Lopez set up Village Ambiental in 1999 to supply and maintain renewable energy systems for local farmers. But Roberto found it difficult to raise the money he needed to buy the equipment he planned to sell.
One of the key barriers to clean energy enterprises growing and sustaining themselves is generally financing. They have the technology, they know the market, they know they can sell it, but often they just don't have the working capital to implement it on a wider scale basis.
Roberto approached B-READ fund manager E&Co and was loaned $55,000 to supply solar-powered irrigation systems to 8 farming families. A solar panel generates electricity to power a pump that takes water from the river for irrigation.
The
complete system of the pump and all the equipment costs about $12,000. But the people of the community haven't got the money to buy this equipment.
The B-READ loan means Roberto can offer credit to his customers so they can earn enough money to pay him back in affordable instalments.
Before the solar system, we used to do the harvest once a year. Now we do it 4 times a year. Our expectation is that with the help of God, in a short period of time, we will pay back the loan.
Donna Maria was the first to receive a solar-powered irrigation system and repaid her loan within 2 years.
Now we have income through the solar power. We plant, we collect, we have money for the expenses, healthy nutrition, and also we have products to sell.
Since installing the solar-powered irrigation system, Donna Maria has used her profits to build a new house and buy a second set of solar panels to supply electricity to her home.
Village has learned to walk the fine balance between trying to earn more money as an enterprise, but also trying to make sure that its clients are earning as much money as possible and is growing as much as possible. The opportunity to scale this up, to replicate this throughout Brazil or even globally is really existent.
The mountains of Yunnan, southwest China. It's a region that has not yet felt the impact of one of the world's fastest growing economies. And here again, the rural microfinance approach promoting renewable energy is proving its worth. Intersected by 4 river systems, Yunnan is a vital watershed for China. Severe flooding downstream has been blamed on deforestation, yet each villager still spends 1 month a year collecting firewood.
After the heavy floods in 1998, the government banned commercial logging, so today this major problem has been solved. But local people are still collecting wood for fuel, and this is destroying the remaining forests. In fact, the collection of wood for fuel is now the major threat to the ecological system.
Working in partnership with REED, the American Nature Conservancy is backing entrepreneurs who can offer cleaner energy using improved technology and alternative fuels. Here in Haishi village, a small enterprise has developed a super-efficient stove that burns up to 80% less wood than the traditional ones. The wood has to be chopped smaller than usual, but it uses less fuel and smoke emissions are cut dramatically. This simple but efficient technology is catching on, and the stoves are selling well. But reducing wood use isn't enough. Finding other renewable energy sources is high on the agenda. Like the biodigester that turns organic waste into household fuel. This 4-in-1 system, introduced by the Nature Conservancy, combines a greenhouse, a pig pen and a toilet with the biogas digester, an underground concrete tank. Animal and human waste ferments underground, producing a gas that's used for cooking, heating and lighting. The greenhouse above the biogas digester keeps in the heat and accelerates the fermentation process, important during colder months. It also creates excellent conditions for growing vegetables and raising pigs. People here still need wood, but not as much as before.
But it's a lot less now, and I have more time to work in the greenhouse and raise pigs. I sell some of the vegetables and almost all of the pigs at the market.
Here in Senegal and West Africa, technology is already in place to supply farmers with water. The problem is lack of maintenance. In the 1980s, money from the donor countries was used to install hundreds of wind-powered water pumps, but today 90% aren't working.
We see again and again that it is fairly possible to have the hardware invested in solar, in wind, but we don't have the software of maintenance. So we need a lot of smaller entrepreneurs, especially also with regard to maintenance.
Now, with AREED backup, small-scale enterprise is offering a long-term solution.
Life in the village depends on water. If water is available, the gardens can be grown. If there are crops, we can sell them to get money. It's all good. But without water, we're facing real troubles.
A local entrepreneur who'd previously worked for the organisation installing the pumps picked up where they left off.
We were leaving these 130 pumps to die with the lack of spares and the lack of expertise. So we set up a local enterprise to continue to do the maintenance.
But Michel soon found the villagers didn't have the cash to pay up front for vital spares and repairs. The answer was to offer credit, but Michel just didn't have the capital. So he approached the local AREED partner, Ender, which helped him find a loan to buy essential equipment.
This provides a window of opportunity for a mechanism of financing that gives poor people access to the services of private operators.
A call's come in and they're off to the village of Tateni Mbambara, where the pump's broken. Corroded pipes and a worn piston seal need replacing.
We are waiting for the great news that it's fixed. Then we'll have a big feast in the village and we'll invite everyone from VEV and all the villagers.
Villagers pay for water by the bucketful. The proceeds help pay for maintaining the pump. If villagers have plenty of water, agriculture can flourish. There's cash income and enough money to keep the well and pump in working order. The palm-fringed beaches of Alagoas, Brazil. Though rich in natural resources, this region is energy poor. Jobs and land are scarce. Here too, BREED, the Brazil Rural Energy Enterprise Development Programme, is creating a buzz, helping a local business make use of a natural resource that's freely available to all. Alagoas is the smallest state in Brazil and also one of the poorest. Thousands of its inhabitants are forced to migrate each year in search of work. Encouraging local enterprise is essential to creating jobs and keeping the economy afloat. Rubia Barbello established Operarius do Mel in 2000 to produce and sell dried bee pollen. Pollen is highly valued by the fast-expanding natural health industry.
Pollen is a natural product with an expanding domestic and international market. This is the market that Operarius do Mel chose to start its process of sustainable development.
But when Rubia decided to expand her business to dry the pollen herself, she found it hard going. So Rubia approached Eco Engenio, the local REED partner.
We offer business plan development, and within the business plan we develop analysis of the markets, financial projections, and we are going to analyse the impacts that the business is gaining, environmental impacts, economic impacts and social impacts.
Rubia was approved for a $27,000 loan to make use of renewable energy resources. The first step was outsourcing production. Local youths were trained in apiculture techniques and supplied with bee boxes. Pollen is collected when bees pass through a trap as they enter the hive. The small holes force them to drop the pollen they're carrying on their back legs. Working with Solartech, a renewable energy company, the REED loan meant that Operarius do Mel could invest in a specially customised solar dryer.
This is a solar dryer composed of two parts, a heater and a dryer. Partly this works on the sun's rays, and partly it runs on the gas, which is used during the night or on cloudy days.
An electric fan blows hot air into the dryer. Then it passes through a graphite panel and along to the drying unit where the heat dries the pollen. Moisture escapes through small holes.
With the taste and the characteristic of the pollen, we understand that the pollen is ready. The pollen cannot be humid or hard. It has to be at a certain point so that the pollen melts in the mouth.
Finding markets for the pollen is essential if Operarius Domel is to succeed. Educating consumers about the health benefits is a key part of their marketing strategy.
It's very good because it provides energy and it gives strength. You're going to see a big improvement in your physical activities.
With the B-Read loan, the business development services of Eco Ingenio and solar technology, the future for Operarius is looking bright.
Apiculture has an incredible potential in the northeast of Brazil and can represent a sustainable form of development, one more source of income to complement other more traditional sources of income.
In rural Mali, fewer than 1% of the population have access to electricity. Even in the city, the main energy source is firewood. Once again, this means mounting pressure on the country's vegetation cover. One energy source Mali has in abundance is the sun. The challenge is how to use it to get a profitable business off the ground. Solar power could be Mali's holy grail. That's why the government seems determined to deliver its potential to its citizens. From a rooftop HQ, one company, USIS, is turning sunlight into profits using solar drying.
This dryer is 2 meters wide and 20 meters long. The sunlight is concentrated by a system of sheets, a transparent sheet and a black sheet. The transparent sheet allows the light rays to penetrate and they absorb by the black sheet. Then they are transformed from sunlight into heat.
Donc il y a transformation du rayon solaire en rayon calorifique.
But Bamba had trouble finding the capital he needed to build his business.
Most of the banks we have in Mali are the commercial banks. And they want to give a loan with the maximum of guarantee and low risk as possible. And the energy sector is something that they find as really risky. They are not willing to finance the business in the energy sectors.
Fortunately for Bamba, he went to a meeting organised by local AREAD partner Mali Folk Centre.
There was a seminar for businesses involved in renewable energy, and that's how I got to know about AREAD.
The AREAD program is for Mali and Mali entrepreneurs, something that comes at a very, very good timing, that as it gives this possibility to people first to assist them to develop the business idea, to the really business concept, and see if about the feasibility or not the feasibility.
Bamba was granted an AREAD loan that's given his business a boost.
We only had one dryer, now we have 2 dryers. And we even have 3. The third is over there, it's not yet installed. So the loan has allowed us to increase our production capacity.
These are developments, I believe they are sustainable because they are directly linked with the self-interest of people, of small stakeholders in the field. They are to the utmost then interested to make this investment a success.